Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with SamPaul. We are back at one of my local haunts, Sorelli Cafe, which they kindly gave me a takeaway cup today, so they got their branding in here. Big up to them. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Today I am joined by a lovely lady by the name of Susan Lister from Liberating Minds. Almost forgot then. How are you going?
Very good, thanks. Good
Awesome.
to be here.
And I have to ask, what are you drinking today? That's
Orange juice and apple, and it's pure fresh orange and apple juice, and it's delicious.
very cool. I do try to get in the habit of asking people what they're drinking, particularly if it's coffee, because obviously there's so many different coffee orders. And I'm determined to figure out a correlation between what people drink and them, like as a person. Like I feel like there might be some sort of insight. Like I always get oat mocha. I don't know what that says about me, but you know, I'm determined to figure it out. I think there's something there, but that's another conversation for another time. But right now, we want to have a talk about Liberated Minds. So what's at the core of what Liberated Minds is about, and what do you do?
Okay, so at the core about everything that I do is about helping people get free from their trauma, falling back in love with themselves.
Beautiful.
And living their life intentionally. So if I was to summarise it, that would be about, that's what's underneath everything that I do.
Very cool, very cool. Seems to be a rising amount of that going on around the world. I've noticed, or at least in Australia, I'm noticing a growing trend of more people either getting into sharing that themselves, like yourself, or people needing and looking for that in their life. And I think it's a very good a good sign that people are sort of starting to take those steps to become better, improve themselves, deal with their traumas and so forth. So that's really good. Really good to see. And what led you to start Liberated Minds? Like what was there an experience? Because I know for myself with my own journey, there was a trauma, which was my mum passing, which led me to start on a path of finding that self-love, finding a better me, I guess you could say. So what led you to your business and path?
I think the pivoting point was when I ended up getting a divorce, and I had 3 young children to look after, and at that point, I thought to myself, I really actually want to become the best version of myself for my children. I know we're meant to put ourselves first, but as a parent, you'd probably understand and agree with that our kids do really influence us to become our best version of ourselves.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So that was my pivoting point, I think, where I really started this journey of how do I become the best version of myself? I want to live my best life. I want to positively influence my children to know that they can do, be, or have anything they want. So
amazing.
That's where I started, and this is where I am.
Sounds fantastic. How long have you been going for now?
In business, I've been in business 3 years. Before that, a counsellor for 10 years.
Yep.
And before that, lots of other jobs helping people.
Lots of lived experience, I'm sure, too.
Yeah, lots of lived experience.
Now, we were talking a little bit off camera about a retreat you've got coming up in Bali.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about what people would expect if they were to attend something like that? What would be like a normal day for them on this retreat?
So Bali's getting me to lose sleep already, right? Because I am super excited, and there's so much to do to organise a retreat. So
No doubt.
It's a women's only retreat. On a normal day, you will feel like an absolute queen. So you wake up in the morning, we'll set an intention, you'll do some yoga, we'll do some form of workshop, which is about connecting into yourself and what your vision is of your next step forward, living your best life. And then we'll go off and do an adventure.
Sounds good already.
And then we'll come back and maybe have a swim, maybe have a massage, have dinner, and have a sharing circle.
So essentially it's just really like putting yourself first and combining with other positive energy people to all kind of achieve your own individual goals.
100%.
Well,
Definitely, that was great.
You can use that if you like.
I just did.
I can't believe I summarised that like that. You just explained it really, really well.
Thank you.
And
it's also like a reset. So for busy people, it's hard to really get in touch with yourself and know what's important to you and what's in your heart and what you want in your life without being able to take some time out from busy everyday life. So
because life is really speeding up, isn't it?
It really is.
Like, not just because as we get older, each year is a smaller portion of our whole life, but everything's speeding us up. Like, I remember, I think I've shared this story once before, but not with yourself, but with another guest. But when I was a kid, we were being told, when we get computers, like life will be easier because you better do the work quicker, so work will be easier, and this will be easier, and that'll be easier. But what actually happened in reality is we became, we got to a point where we were expected to do more. The boss is like, okay, well, that used to take you 2 hours, and now it takes you 45 minutes, so I expect you to do 2 and a bit extra times the amount of work in that amount of time. And I think it's really a dangerous slope to be on, where everything's getting faster and more expected of us, that we're burning out. So these retreats, by definition, would be a wonderful way to kind of keep that balance.
Yeah, definitely. Even when we're sitting still, we're quite often having to be occupied by a phone or by company or by doing something, you know. Exactly. It's always doing something. So even though this retreat will be, we are doing a lot of adventures, there's going to be a lot of still time and self-reflection as well.
But also I think, like adventures and stuff are not, like, I couldn't have perceived them as creating any kind of stress. They'd be kind of the exact opposite of that. So even though you are doing in that respect, you're like, obviously you're relaxing a lot more than you would in day-to-day life.
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. That's very cool. I like that. Yeah. And I, as I said, I am noticing a trend. Like, I've had, without even meaning to, I've had a lot of guests that come from different spaces, all kind of around wellness and self-improvement, self-love, which is really cool. Like, I never intended that with the show. It was just like, wanted to talk to people with passions and interests like yourself. But I seem to have attracted a lot of those kind of those people working in those sort of areas, which is really cool to get to share that, through the show and whatnot. So, what sort of what are some of the, I guess you could say, the typical, I don't know if trauma's the right word, but like backgrounds of people that are coming to get involved with what you do, both with the retreat, but also just in a general kind of sense, because I know you do offer a few different services in the day-to-day. What are some of the typical kind of problems or issues or traumas or just, reasons, I guess, that people come to see you?
Yeah. Okay, so I have a holistic counselling business that I facilitate, that I run from home.
Yep.
And in that is holistic counselling, but as well as energy work, so energy medicine healing and spiritual alchemy. And the typical reasons why people come to me is when they really don't believe in themselves, when they're stuck in one key area. Most people that come to me are either entrepreneurs or very successful and passionate about what they do in their career life, but may have low self-esteem, low confidence, don't really believe in themselves, have relationship patternings, have things that hold them back that they don't realise, they don't understand why they're feeling held back in that. And so when they come to me, then we work a lot with inner child work. So we go back to where those limiting beliefs got formed.
Yeah, right.
And beyond, and are able to heal them and rewrite them. So then that's not playing out in their life right now. So things seem to start to get better. They start to believe in themselves again. They start to learn who they are. They start to fall in love with themselves again, be able to be authentic.
Yeah.
And then the outside world changes. Things start to fall into place with relationships and different opportunities. So
I guess it's like that saying that I've seen around. It says you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. I guess it's a similar sort of thing with the mindset. You can't necessarily change what's going on, but you can change what's going on, in a sense, like in your mind, and that ultimately affects the outside
100%
world as well, which is really cool. It's actually quite amazing. I'm becoming more and more aware every day just how powerful our mind is. Like manifesting is a really great example of that. And what I actually manifested my new car, which I knew I needed one, and I knew I wanted one, but I didn't really know how it was going to happen. And I sat down with some friends one day which were much more versed in manifesting and how it works than I was. And as soon as I identified the reasons why it wasn't working like I thought it should, I reckon it was only within a couple of days, I got an email about some stuff that I'd been waiting on to say that, this was happening, that was happening, which all basically drove me to the, forgive the pun, drove me to the path of being able to actually afford and get the car that I'd always wanted when I put my mind to wanting to manifest this new car.
Fantastic.
And it's crazy because the change between what I was doing and what I did that worked, the change was only very small, but big impact.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm sure you see that a lot.
I really do. Once you do, going back to what you said about you can't change what's going on around you, but you can change what's going on around you because you do your inner work and things change around you. So we're not in control of anything on the outside of us, but we are in control of what's going on inside, or what we do with doing our inner work. So you do that and things just change on the outside, and we view things differently. So we view things differently, so then we get a different perspective. So there's just so much to it, but doing your inner work would be the number one thing, that the biggest gift that you could give to yourself ever. Because you do that and you're free, you're free to be who you are, who you're meant to be here.
I don't know if this is quite on topic of what we're talking about necessarily, but as you know, and as I said to you, we kind of just go where things go. And in my mind, I just feel the need to ask this of you. So we talk about manifesting, and like a lot of people who are familiar with manifesting would be familiar with things like vision boards and so forth, where you pictorially depict what it is that you're visualizing in your mind that you'd like to achieve or like to have in your life and so forth. I'm wondering, and I'm curious on your thoughts of this in regards to things like social media posts, because obviously when manifesting first became a thing and people started to talk about it a lot more and it became more widely accepted around the place, social media I don't think was really there. But I kind of feel like in a way, because we have such a big reach through social media, and that greater than what we'd normally have had prior to Facebook and Twitter and all those sort of things. Do you think that we inadvertently may manifest, and not always good things, but things through posting about those things on social media? Like, I guess what I'm kind of getting at here is, I know some people, for example, that they share like that they're struggling with this and that, and I can't help but feel sometimes that while I'm all for being authentic and sharing the good and the bad, but sometimes I feel that the way that they are wording their posts, and maybe what they're actually doing is inadvertently manifesting more of what they're saying they don't want. Yeah.
So everything has an energy attached to it, right? So if you talk about everything you don't want, you're going to get everything you don't want.
Yeah.
If you start putting out there what you do want, don't worry about how you're going to get it, but putting out there, and this is just one layer of it, of course, because when you've got limiting beliefs and things going on underneath, then that's what's driving what you're saying and what you're doing. So by putting things out there, it's okay for people to share authentically, and everything's okay really, but you put that energy out there and you receive more of it. What you focus on the longest becomes the strongest, right? So
exactly.
If you're putting it out there, you're gonna be in that loop.
Yeah, I always liken it to like when I was a kid, like you might see an unusually coloured car, for example, and you'd be like, oh wow, check that out, and so you'd start thinking about it all the time, and next thing you'd know, everywhere you go, you'd see that car in that colour. Like my car is a red car, and when I was originally kind of manifesting, I was actually asking for a white one, but there was something about the red one that when it was presented to me, everything about it, besides the colour, was above and beyond what I was asking for. I almost felt like the universe was saying, no, that's good and all, but you actually deserve better than that, so this is what we're going to give you. But now that I've got the red car, I see that model in red a lot more than I did before, whereas white was what I saw all the time. So you're 100% right, and that's a very simplistic sort of analogy, I suppose, but I think it's one that a lot of people can relate to, because
definitely,
like you said, you put that energy into thinking about something or someone, and next minute it's everywhere.
So if I can add something for you and your viewers, like if you just say every day, how can things get better than this? Ask the universe that question.
Okay.
And you'll be shown.
Oh, wow. I like the sound of that.
It is massive. Just that one question every morning. If you have a little ritual like I do, of meditation and drumming and manifesting, ask the universe, how can things get any better than this? And feel into that question and see what shows up in your world.
I'm gonna have to give that a try, because I do have some degrees of rituals. I've done a fair bit of inner work through a Louise Hay book that I was shown. I guess the universe ultimately showed it to me through a friend of mine. We were just talking one day, and she's like, "Oh, I've just been reading this book," and I was like, "What is that book? What's it about?" And she said, "Well, it's this," and I was like, "Okay, I need it." So I literally got on my phone and ordered myself a copy, like right then and there, and then it absolutely has changed my life, like, because it does a lot of the inner child work you were talking about earlier, but it also sets up these morning rituals, positive affirmations, and I haven't quite got to the meditation yet, I have to admit. I've been dipping my little toe into it.
I can show you some stuff on that.
Well, we can talk more later.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I definitely want to explore that area more, but I guess the opportunities kind of, I'm letting the universe, so to speak, show me the opportunities that I should be following, and which is actually how I came to have my first experience of meditation. I had a reading by a friend of mine, something that I'd never had really subscribed to, and she used two different card sets, and both of them, a meditation card popped up. Within 24 hours, I'm not even joking, within 24 hours, I had a friend reached out. She said to me, "Do you know anyone that can record? I need to record a song or two." And I'm like, "I can do that for you." Right? She goes, "Oh, would you be open to trading services?" I said, "Well, what are you offering?" And she said, "Well, I teach meditation." I was like, you know what? If you'd asked me that yesterday, I would have probably said, "Nah, just pay me in cash." But the universe has told me that I need to look into that, and you've just come and presented it to me at my doorstep, pretty much. So there, off I went and had my first meditation with this lovely lady, Susan, and interestingly, I caught up with her recently at a dancing room down at Wollonga, and she said, "There's another one. There's actually two parts to that. You need to come to the other one." So,
fantastic.
So yeah, but I'm definitely open to it, and like I said, I'm just sort of letting the universe guide me, guide me. Yeah, exactly.
So I've got two things to say with this. One, it's fantastic that you're noticing synchronicities, because they actually happen with all of us all the time. Yeah. But to become present and be in the moment, you start to notice them. Whether they're, not to judge them as good or bad, just synchronicities. Like, okay, I was thinking about that, I guided to that, I got this opportunity, I'm going to take it. It's awesome. That's beautiful to go with flow. The other thing is I offer a thing called spiritual alchemy, which is like, it's advanced shamanic timeline therapy, really.
Okay.
But it's manifesting on steroids. Right? So what it is you come in with a creation that you want to manifest into your world, and we put that up on a spiritual alchemy bridge. It's all energy work, working with the quantum field. Mm-hmm. And then what we do is we find what your biggest blockage is to that, whether it's past life, whether it's limiting beliefs, whether it's parallel lives, whether it's ancestral, whether it's family lineage. And we go and clear that energetically. And I'm not joking, like, I've just had a lady who was really wanting a relationship, and she was single in November. Mm-hmm. By December, she'd met someone. By January, they're already talking about future plans, and she has no hesitation.
That's incredible.
No hesitation with going forward with this. So,
amazing.
Spiritual alchemy, like I said, if you're wanting to manifest something, contact me. We do a few spiritual alchemy sessions, and
there will be links.
You will be very surprised at how quick your manifestation comes into your world.
Thank you so much for coming on Coffee with SamPaul. Thank you so much for sharing what you do and giving me and the viewers, of course, some really great knowledge and some pointers and tips. I look forward to working with you more.
Thank you so much for having me.
And unblocking my energy. No.
Sorry, healing. Awesome.
But yeah, thank you again. Thank you to Sorelli for the lovely juice, and I hope it's been lovely.
Oh, it's been amazing.
And the lovely beautiful coffee. They always do a great one down here on Port Road in Welland. So if you're looking for a good coffee, definitely come down and see the team. And
excellent.
We'll be in touch with you, I'm sure.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
Peace out.